What if you could see glimpses of the future? Would you use the knowledge to change your fate, or would you be paralyzed by the weight of destiny? A woman's chilling gift unravels the threads of time, revealing a tapestry of fate. Her visions offer a glimpse into the future, but can she escape the inevitable? I always thought I had a good intuition, but nothing prepared me for this. Join me as we explore the extraordinary story of a woman who can see the future and the chilling consequences of her gift. But before we move forward, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification button so that when we post a new story, you will be the first to be notified. Also, give the story a thumbs up to support our work. My name is Ruth Okafor, and I'm 35 years old orphan and CEO of one of the biggest oil company in the city. This is my story. 25 years ago, when I was still 10 years in the village living with my lovely parents, I had a dream that my uncle died. When I woke up in the morning, I told my mum, but she said it's just a dream. But 2 weeks later, my uncle fell from palm tree and died. After the burial, I confronted my mom and remember her the dream, but she shouted at me and told me to keep quiet. I should not allow anyone to hear such things from me, that it was just dream, and what happened had nothing to do with what I saw. Then 2 months later, I dreamt of the death of our king's wife, Queen Ugochi. The next morning, I told my mom, but she said it just a dream and nothing more. But she was worried when I left. Then I told my dad of the dream. He said I should not worry myself, that nothing will happen to Queen Ugochi, that she is in good health condition, and he asked me not to speak such to anyone, or else the king will accuse us of being witches, and we will be banished. I accepted that it just a dream, but few days later the queen became sick, and after all the medication she gave up the ghost. My parents became afraid and confused of what is happening to me. Was it that a messiah or accursed? It keeps happening. Anytime I saw something, later it will happen. But my parents refused to tell anyone my dreams because of what the villagers might do to us. 3 years later, I dreamt of the oracle of our village being stolen. I told my parents, but they became more afraid, that if such happens, the villagers will be in serious danger. A week later, the chief priest of my village arrived at the palace to announce the sacrilege. He announced that the oracle has been stolen and the gods are angry. And if it's not found and returned to the abode in 8 market days, the village will be in danger of the gods' wrath. Then the king sent out search party to look for the oracle. 6 days passed, the oracle was not found, and again I dreamt of the wrath of the gods, livestock and plants on the field dying. When I told my father, he was afraid that this is becoming real day by day. On the 8th day, there was a heavy rain, the kind that has never been seen before in the village. After the rain, the crops began to rot and livestock died. The villagers cried of the loss. The king offered sacrifice to please the gods, but it could not stop the gods' anger. On the 13th day, I saw another dream. This time it was a hope for the village. I saw the oracle being found, and the village was at peace again. When I told the dream to my dad, he was overjoyed, but still didn't understand the meaning of my dreams. We then waited for the dream to come true. On the 21st day, the oracle was found in the forest. Beside it were 3 dead, young, strange men who had never been seen in the village before. They were struck by the lightning on the day of the heavy rain. After the oracle was restored, the villagers celebrated it, and the king put a 7-day feast to celebrate the return of Ogidi, the oracle and gods of the village. After the feast was over, my parents were confused about what to do, considering everything I dreamt always came to pass. Then my father took me to the neighboring village to see one native doctor who told him that I have an extraordinary gift of vision, the ability to see the future and ability to stop it before it happens if the person listens to me. But my journey to where I am meant to be will not be easy. Then when we came back, my father told my mom what the man said, and she asked him, "What shall we do?" But my father had no answer to that. He was confused. 6 months later, I dreamt of one well-known billionaire businessman in our community that he had an accident while going for a business meeting. The next day, my father went to his house to confront him, but he said it's nothing, just a mere dream from little girl. I have been traveling, going and coming back, so don't worry about me. Nothing will happen. But after going on his way, coming back, he had an accident and broke his leg. When the villagers heard the news, some said, "I'm a seer," while some said, "I'm a witch." Some of my friends' parents withdrew them from me. Sometimes, when I visited my friends, their parents would ask them to go inside. I would be told that they are not around. When I go back, I would tell my mom, and sometimes I would ask her, "Am I cursed?" But she would encourage me not to say that or give up on myself, that I am blessings that many pray to be. She told me a story about the day I was born. She said that there was a heavy rain that lasted for 12 hours, and it was not even in the rainy season. My father added that I am the best thing that happened to this community. I shouldn't see myself as a curse. 5 years later, my parents died in food poison. That shock and broke me. After the burial, rumors erupted in the village. Some said I killed my parents. How can they die of poison while I claim to be seeing vision? But many believe seers don't see their own death. At 18 years, I started living alone, but the pains of not being able to see my parents' death before it happened and the accusation of the people corrupted my mind. And I decided not to tell anyone my dreams again. When I saw something in my dreams, I would keep it and refuse to say it, and it would happen. It kept happening for some months, till one day I saw my mum in dream, and she said to me, "My child, why have you decided to keep your dreams to yourself and allow bad things to happen to your people?" And I told her, "Mother, they are not my people, and why do I need this gift if I could not use it to save your life and Daddy's?" Then she said to me, "My child, the gods are wise. You are given this gift for purpose. Don't allow grief to put you in a wrong direction. Honor our death by saving others. Let the vengeance be for the gods." When I woke up, I could not know what to do for sure, but I decided to honor them and move on. Days turned to months, and I started helping people like always. But everything changed when I dreamt the death of our king. King Uzoma is a nice man who has always loved my parents and has been good to me ever since they passed away. I was caught between telling him or leaving him to join the ancestors because I did not see the cause of his death or any solution to prevent it. I kept wondering and asking myself, what should I do now? 2 days later, I made the decision to open up and announce it. I told the king with the elders in council that a great man will die in this community and the death will shake the community very much. They tried to ask me who the person is, but I told them the vision is not clear to me. And like that, I went back home. When I reached home, I cried all night. The next day, King Uzoma paid me a visit, alone. No guard, no elder, just him. He asked me, "My child, who is this person you are talking about? Is it me or who?" I was so much worried, but I could not tell him the truth. I said to him, "Your Highness, the vision was not clear to me." Then he left, worried. 3 weeks later, the king became sick. He was taken to the hospital. After 2 more weeks, he recovered from the sickness and he returned to the palace, healthy and happy. But 2 days later, he slept and did not wake up. The next day, the villagers mourned him, and after the burial, I was accused again of killing the king and was banished from the village. I left from the village to the city with no money, no clue of where I was going to or who I was going to stay with. My first 3 weeks was sleeping in back of people's shop at night, searching for work and begging for money and food in the day. On the 4th week, at about 11 o'clock Tuesday morning, I was walking on the street when a black SUV Jeep drove and parked by my side. I rushed to beg him for money, and when the man rolled his glass down, I asked him, "Sir, can you spare me some money? I haven't eaten for 2 days now." He looked at me with concerned eyes. Then he asked me, "Can you work?" I answered, "Yes, sir, I can." Then he asked me to come in. I was scared, but hunger had made the decision for me already. Immediately I jumped in. He drove me to a big mansion, where he instructed the other maid to give me food and everything necessary, that I'm one of them now. They all welcomed me, and we all stayed together working and serving our Master Chief Maxwell and his wife, Madame Oluchi. But there is something suspicious about Madame Oluchi. She is cruel when it comes to me. She always complains and always tells her husband to send me away, that there is something strange about me. But Chief Maxwell never did that. He was always kind to everyone, especially to me. 3 years later, I had a dream. In the dream, Mr. Maxwell was going out. He wore a red suit with a black briefcase in his hand. When he went out, he did not return, and everyone was crying. When I woke up, I was scared. I was caught between telling him and risk losing my work and shelter that I had enjoyed for years now, or letting it happen. I kept thinking of it for 2 days. On the 3rd day, I was mopping the living room when Mr. Maxwell came down from the stairs, wearing the same red suit and holding the same briefcase. That was when I made the decision. I ran to him. "Sir, please, I'm begging you, don't leave this house today." Chief Maxwell stopped in his tracks. He had just stepped into the hallway, one hand adjusting his wristwatch, the other holding his car key. But now, standing in front of him and blocking his path was me, an ordinary housemaid, kneeling on the cold tiles. My eyes were red, and my hands were joined together and were shaking. "What's this?" Maxwell asked quietly. I looked up, my voice trembled. "Please, sir, don't go. Something terrible will happen if you step out today." Maxwell blinked his eyes and was confused. "What are you talking about?" "I had a dream, sir, 3 days ago. You were wearing the same outfit. You entered your car and didn't come back. There was blood everywhere. People were shouting your name. Please don't go." Maxwell stared at me. The air in the room suddenly felt different, still, heavy. This wasn't one of those dramatic dreams that made people laugh. I looked genuinely terrified. He was already late for the meeting. "Get up," he said, his tone low but commanding. "This is not the time, Ruth." "Please, sir," I whispered, pressing my hands to the floor. "I know I'm only a maid, but I couldn't keep quiet. If I let you go and something happens, I won't forgive myself." Just then, Madame Oluchi descended slowly from the stairs, face already glowing with early morning makeup. She paused when she saw me on the floor. "What exactly is going on here?" she asked coldly. "She's saying I shouldn't leave the house," Chief Maxwell replied, not taking his eyes off me. Oluchi stepped down and folded her arms. "Why?" I didn't move. "Ma, I had a dream, a very clear one. If he leaves this house today, he won't come back alive." Oluchi scoffed. "This is why I told you we need to let this strange girl go. She has now turned to a dreamer." Maxwell said, "No, let me think. You have an important meeting this morning. Money is involved, and now a housemaid is stopping you with nonsense dreams. You must be kidding, right?" I bowed my head lower. "I'm sorry, Ma, but I had to say it. Get out of the—" Maxwell raised his hand. "Wait." Oluchi turned sharply. "Wait for what?" He was quiet. His eyes were still on me. There was something about my voice, something honest. I wasn't stuttering. I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I looked like someone who had just seen something she couldn't unsee. Then it happened. That feeling, that quiet warning deep in his chest. No noise, no drama, just a strong sense. If you step out today, you'll not come back. Maxwell stepped back. He walked slowly to the center table, dropped his car key, and turned away from the door. "I'm not going again." I gasped softly, still kneeling. Oluchi was surprised. "You're not what?" "I'm not going." "For God's sake, you heard me." He walked into the living room and sat down, his hands folded in front of him, staring at the ceiling like it had answers. Oluchi shook her head in disbelief. "You're letting this girl manipulate you because of one dream?" "She's not manipulating me," he said quietly. "Something just doesn't feel right." Oluchi hissed, turned, and marched back upstairs, grumbling to herself. I slowly stood up, wiped my face, and picked up the mop I had left earlier on the floor. My hands were still shaking. And silence. He sat there in silence, wondering why his heart was beating this fast, and why the fear in my eyes felt more real than anything he had felt in years. What he didn't know was that I have the gift of vision. Later in the day, he sent his driver to get things for him. A few hours later, he received a call from the hospital that the driver has been shot by unknown gunmen and he is dead. The next day, he overheard Madame Oluchi talking on phone to someone. She was telling the person that the person they shot was not her husband, but the driver. That her husband refused to go out, and she called them to inform them, but their number is switched off. Chief Maxwell put everything on record, and after she ended the call, he entered and asked her, "Who were you talking to?" She smiled and said, "My friend, she called to console us for what happened yesterday." Then she immediately changed the topic. "Honey, I can't believe Ruth was right yesterday. I think she deserves something special for saving your life, and I'm sorry for how I reacted. I was only thinking about the money." Then he replied, "It's fine. I thank God I listened to her, and for the award, she deserves one." Then he went out and called police. When the police arrived, he asked them to arrest Madame Oluchi for attempting to kill him and leading to the death of their driver. She tried to deny it, but he played the record for her and the police arrested and took her away. Mr. Maxwell called me and asked me, "Have you ever experienced such things in your life, such dreams?" And later it happened. Then I told him all my story. He listened in silence till I was done. He then promised me that what I did, saving his life, will not go unnoticed. He put me to one of his companies to manage it. And years later, he made me CEO of one of his oil companies in the city. And that was how I moved from the servant quarters to the executive suite. Today, I sit in the same boardrooms where I used to serve tea. I lead meetings, I sign contracts, I drive the same SUV I once washed. But more importantly, I now use my gift, not in fear, not in shame, but with purpose. I still dream. And I still see. Sometimes I prevent disasters, sometimes I save lives, sometimes I just sit quietly and thank God that He never took this gift away from me, even when I wanted to throw it away. And for every soul listening to me right now, maybe you feel unseen, unheard, unimportant. Maybe they've told you that your dreams don't matter. Maybe you even started to believe it. Let my life be proof that one dream can change everything. Today, I walk boldly in my purpose, not because I'm perfect, but because I finally accepted who I was created to be. This is my story, and I hope it reminds you that your gift will make room for you. Even if no one believes in you yet, believe in yourself, because one day they'll come looking for the same gift they once rejected.